books. Read. Read it! Hi! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nazaret. Welcome. I am so excited to do this video today because today we're going to talk about my possibly ambitious reading list for this year. Today I actually finished a book that I started last year and I had like this much left, so I don't even know if that counts, but we'll get to that. So let's get started. In an era where people are always on their screens, me included, like I'm not even trying to say I'm not a part of that group when I very much am, it's so good to just take a bunch of dead trees and look at the ink and hallucinate. It's really good for your brain, better than the screen. So in an era where people aren't reading as much as they should, or maybe that you're not reading in school when you're supposed to, I hope that this can encourage you to read one book that you've been putting off. One book, not a tweet, not an article. Articles are good though. But a book, a full-length novel, if you will, to like for enjoyment, for learning, for mental stimulation, if you will. And this is my list. I have some physical books with me. I have some things I have loaded onto my iPad, and we're gonna talk about what I will hopefully read this year. Maybe I can do a recap video at the end of the year to see what I actually read. And I should probably write down what I did read if I got to it. But it's really not about how many books you read. You should try to at least read regardless in an age of people are saying that you don't need to read. You need to read. Anything really. Let's get started. I'm gonna show you the physical books that I have, and I'll tell you what's been going on. So the first book I have, I started last year. As you can see, it's kind of, it's used and abused. Not that abused though. I tried my very best to take care of my books, okay? Because they're made of paper, for God's sake. And this is, I got this at Target years ago. Nicholas Sparks' See Me. I've been reading his books for a couple years now, since I was in middle school, actually, when I probably wasn't, should not have been. And technically I used to have 3 of his books, and I bought them all, but one of them, I don't know what happened to that book. That book was pretty sad either way, so I kind of don't even miss it. But this book called See Me, I've read it many, many times. I know what happens, and I really enjoy it. As you can see, I'm right up to the halfway point, and I just stopped all of a sudden, and I don't know why. But I'm gonna try and finish it, because why not? It's a fun little detour what he usually does, you know? Man meets woman, they fall in love, there's a will they, won't they, someone dies in the 3rd act, happily ever after. But this is like all the same formula, plus it turns kind of thrillery, which I didn't expect, which is kind of cool. And I love them. I also just love that it's the female lead, she's Mexican, she's a daughter of immigrants, and I'm like, that's me! And she's a lawyer, which I'm not. But I love her. I love her very much. And I don't know what else to say, but I really do love this book. I saw the reviews. Some people didn't like it, and I'm like, you know what? That's fine. But I can't believe you didn't like a change. You didn't like a thriller stalker kind of thing. Not that the male lead stalks her. No. This is not what that is. But it gets kind of a little bit. How do I describe it? It takes a. Sorry, I forgot. I don't know how to say it. It just. You'd have to read it. You'd have to read it. I would say it's thoroughly entertaining, in my opinion, and sweet and tender. This you should read it. I love it. You should read it. And I really enjoy it. I'm gonna finish it, promise. Ah, we have Girl Interrupted. Oh, yeah, I tried reading this book last year on my trip to New York, and I never got around to it. This is the snack that they gave us on the plane that I used as a bookmark, which is really good. Yeah, I tried reading this so many times, but nothing's gonna stop me though. This book will be read. Like, it's probably the thinnest book I have. So it shouldn't be that difficult. I just have to, like, sometimes there will be months where I'm not reading at all, and then, like, literally for 2 weeks, I read 10 books, swear, last year. And I don't know. It's just, I'm trying, right? I'm trying. And I forgot what this even was about, right? This girl, I guess she's in rehab, and all these girls are going through it, basically. My main motivation is that so I can watch the movie. If you saw my movie watch list video, you'd know that. So, moving on. Now, these books I bought because the first one, I have The Odyssey, specifically the translation by Emily Wilson. And well, first off, this cover is quite pretty. My cousin hates The Odyssey, and she's I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but I'm like, I want to read The Odyssey because Christopher Nolan is directing his own adaptation of the poem into a movie, and literally everybody and their mother is in it, okay? Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, Tom Holland, Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Charlize Theron. Oh, The Punisher, he's in it too. And I just want to see what's up. I don't like, if there's context that I can read or see before watching the event, the movie, I want to do that. And I know that this poem has been around for hundreds of thousands of years, but I only know like the references of it made in like media, like in Arthur. They reference this. I've seen a couple anthology cartoon TV shows where they reference these stories, so it's not completely new to me. Plus, I read Percy Jackson, so this shouldn't be too hard for me. I tried reading the introduction, but I started getting really bored, so I just started reading the poem, and it's gotten by a little better. But as you can see, hold on, I'm gonna show you how much I've actually read of the story. So this is where it starts, and technically this is how much of the poem I've read. So technically it's not a lot. The rest is this much. I have about 6 months until the movie premieres. At my middle school, they would have us read blocks of just reading periods. You'd read a book from the library and then you take a test on it. Accelerated reading. Anybody familiar? Anyways, it was, I guess, for your understanding and to improve the literacy amongst the students. And I was that kid who read the 30 pages a night she was assigned. And I think that's what I'm gonna have to do to myself if I'm gonna get through this. Because right now, I haven't touched it that much. I like it so far, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like a class. I told myself I wanted to read more classics last year, this year. I said last year, but last year happened and I barely got this book. So I want to do it more this year. But the books that I'm starting with, it's pretty ambitious, but as long as I discipline myself, if I can spend 5 hours on my phone, I can spend 5 hours reading, you know? So, see, and I have a second bookmark of where I said, okay, after this day, you should finish this section. And that was probably weeks ago. So again, 30 pages a day, maybe that's too much for me probably. It'll probably be 30 pages every 2 days or a week if I want to get through this before the summer. So this is a big one for me. Maybe I'll have to read it in stages and not just in a whole sitting. I'm not like the book talk girlies, which I am on in a sense, more as a viewer. I don't make content on there. But I really am determined to reading this because I did buy it with my own money from Barnes & Noble, and it was $18, and it's actually not that heavy. I considered getting the hardback, but my cousin who hates the Odyssey was like, if you're gonna carry that around, don't torture yourself, get the paperback. And I like it. I really do. And I also like the edges of the book. Some of the pages are I guess like a teeny bit shorter than the others, and it makes this like cool like feeling effect or whatever. I haven't even talked about what the book is about. So the Odyssey is about this man named Odysseus, and he travels far and wide to go back home to his wife Penelope and his son Telemachus, and he battles monsters, and lots of people die, and he just, the gods are at him, and he's journeying home. I guess that's basically what it is. I don't know the nitty-gritty details. I still have to read it. But yes, I'm excited. I'm excited. I still, like, I will read this, I promise. Okay. The other book that I bought was slightly discounted. I thought it was 50% off. I kind of did that to myself. Well, to be fair, it said, I think the sale on Barnes & Noble, where everybody was there when I showed up at the store, it was like 50% off everything, but I think that was a lie, and I kind of got 30% off it because it's not what a hardcover or a paperback. It's like a cloth bound edition of a classic. So I got The Count of Monte Cristo. I heard this kind of like a telenovela. This guy's like getting vengeance. He gets put in jail unfairly, and he's basically gonna get revenge. And I'm like, I don't know what that needs for all of this to happen. Also, it's just super pretty. It's so beautiful, so I hope I like it. I'm nervous. This is more, probably I'll tackle this after I read The Odyssey. I can only do so much at a time. This will probably be more later in the year, like in July, when I start reading this. I think I tried to start it the other day. But I think it takes place in France, and some of the names of the places I can't pronounce. Wow, those French classes were for nothing. À ta place. Comment ça va? J'adore les frites. But I am excited to read it and hopefully like it, because people on Book Talk, they're really just like, hey, this is probably one of the greatest books I've ever read. And I'm like, I want to experience what you're experiencing, so that's why I have it. So these are the physical books that I'm hoping to read this year. I have more on my iPad, and I'm just gonna tell you like what I have. So I'll put like a picture of the book like right here. So what I just finished today is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This is the second book of hers that I've read that I've really enjoyed. Her first book, The Unhoneymooners, is the first one I read. I've read it like twice now. I really enjoy it. It's I guess the pattern so far that I've seen with these two books is just two people who don't like each other or don't know each other take a vacation in a beautiful tropical place, and then they end up falling in love. And in this book, a marriage of convenience, and then a beautiful tropical island, and then it's just falling in love. And I'm like, wow, I love that. And I had fun. I love the female lead, Anna Green. You have my heart. She's so fun. I would love to see this as a series, actually. The Paradise Problem. And I'm really proud of myself. Even though I did start it last year, I finally finished it. And it's one down. All right. So I also, not to say too much, but I work with the youth. And sometimes I read with the youth. And some of the books they're reading, I'm like, I kind of want to read that. So I take note of the title, I look it up, and I have some of these books on my iPad. So one of them, okay, a kid was reading this like horror book, and usually I don't go for horror, but it looked intriguing enough. one of the books, this is for middle school, it's embarrassing, but something, like sometimes it's easier for me to like read like young adults chapter books just to get into it, you know? I have no other justification. Okay, Hide and Seeker. I think this book, it's like these kids are like kidnapped, disappeared when they're playing hide and seek. I don't remember much of it, but it's a teeny bit spooky. So I will read this in the daylight. But I probably won't read this yet. I think the book I want to read next on my iPad is a book a student was reading called You Will Be Mine. It was kind of, I think it's a kind of thrillery. I don't know too much about it because the student switched the book out, didn't like it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I will read it for myself to see what's up. I think also as we were reading it, I think the characters are British. This book takes place in like England or something. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll see what's up. Hopefully I like it. Another book, I think it's in a series. So I got like the 3 books because it's a trilogy. It's called The Asylum by Madeline Rowe. I don't know too much about it. I even don't even remember what it's about. So it will be like a diving into it. Sometimes I like not knowing too much. I will read the back of the book, but that's it. I will not read anything else. If it's intriguing enough, I will read it. You know, that's how it goes. So I'll do that. And ooh, okay. I love Emily Henry. She's great. Okay, who watched People We Meet on Vacation? Huh? I had fun. It was great. I read the first 3 books she came out with, Beach Read, Book Lovers, and People We Meet on Vacation. And first I read Beach Read. I'm like, that was great. People We Meet on Vacation, oh, incredible. I think Book Lovers is probably the lowest out of the ranking for me. But she's a really great writer. I love it. These characters, the men, feel fully 3-dimensional, real human beings. Honestly, not just tropes in a dream, you know? And I have Happy Place on here. And I've had it for a while. I have not touched it. And I really want to, because for all that we know right now, all of her books will be getting adapted into screen. And I'm like, obviously I will read the book. I am very much a book purist in that sense, but I will respect what they need to do to get it on screen. And I think that's early in development, but I am excited to read Happy Place. And I will probably also read Funny Story and Great Big Beautiful Life, if that's what her most recent title is called. Okay, what else do I have? Okay, so there is a TikTok of this girl who was basically not pretending, but like she framed the plot of this book as like her own life, and it was really interesting. I think it's like so Donna Tartt, The Secret History. I think it's a bunch of like rich kids and I think a murder and a boarding school. I don't know too much beyond that. I don't remember too much beyond from watching that video. I don't remember the video. But what I like is the cover. The cover looks interesting to me. I know it's just a statue, but like what could possibly happen within these pages? I have to know. So hopefully I will get to this book as well. And lastly, I think I will also probably end up reading other books out on a whim. So we'll see how many books I end up reading at the end of the year. But again, it's the fact that you read, not how much you read, okay? Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I also have Funny You Should Ask, a novel. I think this was about like an interviewer, actor plot. I don't remember that much. I think someone like in a video said like, oh, it was like Chris Evans and I don't know who else. I think, like, imagine the actor from this story being, like, Chris Evans, and then I think the female lead is, like, a journalist. I should probably read that next. Something chill, something... nothing serious. But, yes. I believe, so far, there are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books on my list. Yay! How's that? All right. I've already recorded for 20 minutes and I felt like my words were like were a nothing burger. I'm sorry. This isn't very well organized, but these are the books that I want to try and read this year. And I hope that you all pick one book, a book, and read a book this year. Pick a book over your phone because books are wonderful, great pieces of... Just read, man. Have a good day. Bye!